What's up? What's up? Happy Tuesday. Hope all is well. Also, happy Valentine's Day. I hope it was an eventful day for all the boys and gals out there. And yeah, maybe if it wasn't, hopefully this will be an event for you. So yeah, without further ado, I'm just gonna jump into it. Get into the 5-minute pool. So boom, and what do you know? We got an opponent right away, and I actually think I've played this guy before, Hawksmore. I think I played him in the last video actually. Maybe I don't remember what happened. I think I won. So e4 c5 b3 is like an anti-Sicilian line, and I remember someone once saying when they play b3 you could just play e5 and sort of shut down the bishop on that diagonal. And so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna play e5 and then d6, which sort of secures my my bishop. Or it's sort of trying to block the bishop on b2, and now this pawn sacrifice f4, and I'm actually going to take it. I think I'm going to go for that because it's a pawn. Pawns you should try and hold on to. So yeah, now I'm a pawn up, but now this bishop is actually unleashed on the long diagonal. So the question is, does white have enough compensation? And the flip side is, will black be able to keep onto the pawn and sort of limit the bishop on b2? I think black should be better here, but in a blitz game, things are always more complicated. So I do prefer black in this position, but we'll see. I think knight f6 is an important move, putting pressure on the e4 pawn, because I don't think a move like knight c3 is necessarily desirable. So okay, and wow, bishop c4, immediately just saying no to defending that pawn. And I wonder if I can take this one. It looks a little bit risky. If knight takes e4, queen e2, queen e7, a little risky. Really risky, actually. But I want to do it. I want to go knight takes e4. But it's a little bit risky. I don't love that, the risk. The other threat, black is actually threatening knight g5. So I have to make a decision. So I'm going to go bishop e7, which is sort of the passive way of, so now I could just castle, but definitely not the most aggressive way to play. But I think it's smart. I think it's sensible. So castles, and now I'm going to castle. And, okay, I didn't play like in this uber aggressive fashion, but maybe this is enough. E5, I saw this move, and I was hoping I'd be able to play d5. I was hoping I'd be able to play d5. The point was that after d5, e takes f6, I wanted to play bishop takes f6, and I thought I'd hit the rook on a1 at the end. So that was the idea. But now that I'm looking at it, maybe it's better to just take on e5. If knight takes e5 or bishop takes e5, it looks like that f-pawn would be toast, and white would have pretty good compensation. I'm going to go for the move I was planning, which was d5. Very unusual move, but if it works, it's really cool. The point is that after e takes f6, I'll play bishop takes f6, and the c4 bishop will still be attacked, and additionally, the a1 rook might be hit at the end if he takes on f6 with his bishop at the end. So I was hoping this would make sense. And so yeah, you see queen takes, and again I'm a piece down here still, but the rook on a1 is hit. So I thought he would have to sort of maybe just actually play knight c3. And again here, I'm going to get the piece back. And okay, bishop takes d5, very aggressive move. I'm going to take this rook. And yeah, okay, so now his idea is actually just to trap my queen somehow. I don't know if that's actually going to work, but it's an interesting idea. I think the first thing to do is just take the free pawn here. So I'm going to go queen takes a2 because I don't want my queen to get trapped. And I think white's idea was to play queen c2. But now knight g5 is very dangerous. Very dangerous move, this knight g5. And I have some problems here. Because, okay, I have some really big problems here. Because essentially, f7 is a little bit loose, but queen h5 is a threat. I'm going to go queen c2. Oh, no, I can't go queen c2. What am I going to do? Sorry, I'm going to go queen a6. Oh, no, but then there's going to be pressure on rook takes f4. I might just be in trouble here. Wow, this might be really bad for me. I didn't see knight g5, and that looks really really strong. I'm gonna go bishop f5. The point is, I'm trying to trade queens. I'm trying to play queen takes b1, and I developed the bishop where it can potentially defend. Can potentially defend the queen h5 threat with bishop g6. So that's the idea with bishop f5. But I must say, I did not see the extent of the danger here, because there is quite a bit of danger here. So the first question is this bishop f5 move, can it be refuted or not? Because if I hold on to my material advantage, I'm fine. The other thing is bishop takes b7. I was going to just go knight d7 and give the exchange back, and I was thinking I would still have a decent position if I am able to get rid of this d5 bishop. But it's unclear. Okay, so knight takes f7. That's aggressive. That is definitely aggressive. So I have two choices. I could take on b1, or I could take on f7. The question is, what's more sensible? I really want to play rook takes f7. Maybe queen takes b1. The question is, does rook takes f7 work here? Because queen h5, again, is a real concern. I'm going to... There's also, after rook takes f7, there's bishop takes, king takes, and rook takes f4. So I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I can manage this. Well, I'm going to go queen takes b1, but really not supremely confident that this works. But I really feel like if I can trade the queens here, I might have a chance. And it looks like I've run myself into some real time trouble, so I'm going to have to play an instinct right now. But I think this looks really scary to deal with. I'm a rook up very temporarily. And I'm not sure if I have all my bases covered. I think I'm counting on the fact that I could just go to h8 and be relatively safe after discovery check. But it's always tough when they're discovery checks to sort of figure out if they're dangerous or not, because they feel dangerous, but they might not always actually be dangerous. So knight e5 check, king h8, that's sort of obligatory. And okay, so he's going for it. So he's going to trade queens and go bishop takes b7. And I was thinking here that I would be relatively okay, but maybe that assessment is just wrong. What to do? Wow, I'm really flailing here. I just wasted way too much time just now. Wow, now I have 11 seconds to try and hold a losing position. Brutal. Yeah, and it's just completely losing. You can see both sides, both pawns. One of them are going to queen. Yeah, my idea probably wasn't so good to go for this rook on a1. Pawn further, I feel like I'm a replay guy from the from the NFL, like an NFL referee from the booth. It's like after further review, the plan was pretty bad, and it looks like it because I don't think I had any real major problems, but bishop c4, I have to start to. I should need to play a little bit more concretely here. Maybe taking on e4 is the right way to go. I don't know. My idea with the d5 was definitely not up to snuff. So, yeah, on to the next. Good game, Hawksmoor. You nicked me. Also spent way too much time when I said I was going to stop talking. I sort of did, but then I couldn't actually make a move, which is essentially just really not something you could do when you're playing these types of players, especially IMs. You know, you gotta be sharp against everyone, but you can't be sloppy when you're playing some stronger guys. But it's all good. It's all good. All right, Junior 64, another IM. Okay, I'm gonna open with d4, tried and trusted, and I haven't gone Trumpowski very much. I'm gonna go Trumpowski, bishop g5, and e6. This is the sort of the positional line, or the line where they give you the center with e4, but they play h6 and try to keep the two bishops. And it was my understanding that this is just better for white, but maybe that's a wrong understanding. So c5 is a little bit weird. I'm gonna go d5 because I think it makes sense when I think it makes sense to go forward in the structure, and if I could transform it to a sort of a Benoni type structure where white has more space, I think that's a pretty good outcome. Queen b6 hits b2, but it's a little risky, so I'm gonna sort of dare him to take it by playing knight c3 and say, please take my pawn. You can do it if you wish, and then if queen takes b2, I'll just go bishop d2, and essentially I'm gonna say, you've won a pawn on b2, but I have a massive lead in development, and that should rule the day. Also, the queen would be a little bit offsides on b2. Also, after queen takes b2, there's knight b5, which I failed to mention, but is actually pretty strong. So I'm actually going to think here for a second to figure out if knight b5 works. Does knight b5 work? Now I'm going to go bishop d2. I think it's a little bit more reasonable. Because maybe after knight b5, there's queen e5. Alright, so queen a5 is a move. And I'm going to go... So he's trying to hit e4. Yeah, I'm going to go rook b1. And then queen a5 should be played. Now I'm just going to develop. I'm going to go knight f3. And... wait, actually I might have e5 here. Oh yeah, e5 looks really strong. Because now knight takes d5 can't be played because the bishop is discovered against it. So now this knight has to go back to g8, which is really, really not where you want your pieces to be. And yeah, now that he went knight g8, I can probably just go d6 and try to lock everything up. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just go d6 and try to just shut down the development of Black's kingside pieces. And now it looks really difficult. I mean, I'm a pawn down still, but it just seems really difficult for Black to develop. Additionally, here I'm threatening knight b5, which threatens knight c7. So I think White has a massive advantage here, even though there's a pawn down. So queen d8 sort of like had to be played just to sort of get some breathing room. And yeah, it's not looking good here for Black. I can go knight b5, but then he goes knight a6. So I'm actually going to just go... should I go knight f3 or bishop d3? I'm going to go bishop d3, which has the idea of if b6 is played, I can go bishop e4. Okay, so a6 covers knight b5, and now I'm going to go knight f3, and yeah, this looks tough. Knight a6, knight c6 is okay, developing, and I wonder if I can castle now, or bishop g5, one of those moves. I'm going to castle first, but now my threat is actually to play bishop g5. The point is that, okay, f5 is played. Doesn't really solve the problem of this lack of development. So I have some options here. I could play knight g5. I could play bishop g5. A lot of good options. What to do? That's the problem when you have so many good options. It's tough to make a decision. I want to just go somewhere where I'm putting pressure on this position. I'm gonna go knight a4. I'm just gonna try and grab this c5 pawn. I don't see any way to defend it. I'm feeling a little greedy. Sorry, so c4 does defend it. Because if I take on c4, there's b5. So I'm gonna go knight b6 though, which now just attacks the rook on a8, and now I'm gonna win that pawn. Or he's gonna give the exchange, but it's a bad idea because now I go knight takes a8 and I threaten knight c7 check. So I think this is really bad for black, because now knight c7, this down a8 comes back into the game with a force, with a vengeance. And h6, interesting move, trying to maybe get the king to h7. I'm actually going to go g4. Really amazing move. The point is that if pawn takes, there's queen g6. And so g6 has to be played, but doesn't necessarily solve this. But again, the king is still pretty weak. So now I feel like I should take and go king h1, which I will do. The point being that g takes is more or less forced, because if e takes, there was queen c4. And white just has a massive advantage here. I'm going to go rook g1 and get my rooks to the action. And note here that the queen on d8 can't move, has no squares. The bishop on c8 can't move. The knight on g8 can't move. So there's just so many pieces of blacks that actually just can't move here. And I'm an exchange up in addition to all those things. So really bad position. And now I'm just going to try and go rook g1, as you can see, and now I'm attacking the knight on g8. Fine, that's a resource, but I'm not going to help. I'm not going to help black here. I'm going to try and get my own pieces to the fight. So I wonder if I should start with knight c7, or I want to transfer my queen over somehow. I'm going to start with knight c7. It looks reasonable to me. And then I'm going to go bishop f4 just to overprotect e5. And I'm going to go king h2, sort of prophylactically defend against any discoveries along this diagonal. And I'm going to go queen e2 next, with the idea to I want to get my queen to the h5 square. And I'm going to have to stop talking again because I'm chatting up a storm like Chatty Cathy over here. But my idea is to go queen h2, queen h5. There's also maybe knight g5 check and then queen h5, like sacking a piece, which I'm going to do. Because this king, again, is just lacking squares. So a one check, and that might just do the king in. And I think Junior 64 is realizing just how bad this king is, because if the king moves and declines to sacrifice, I have discovery checks on the g file. So I don't even have time to take some tea. And well, they say you shouldn't count your chickens before they hatch or whatever, but I feel like I can twiddle my thumbs and do all kinds of things. All right, so I'm not going to take on g5. I'm going to go queen h5 check, because the rook has to move, and now just rook takes g5, and this pin is really decisive. Knight takes e5, I did not see. Wow, maybe I missed something. Oh man, did I miss something again? Oh man. No, I'm gonna go rook b3 and stop knight f3 check. And then I'm gonna go rook g3. This has to be okay for me, right? Oh, but now there's knight f6. Wow, I really messed this up again. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna win, but it's just not clean. Checkmate. Woo! Again, I counted the chickens too early, and wow, what happened? I just want to check the past few moves because I had this in the bag after rook g6, and then I played rook takes g5. Not the most precise, actually. Probably, but I'm gonna check just to see. Whip up this engine. And wow, unbelievably, I'm not winning here. I just thought it'd be an easy win. It just looks devastating, but rook takes g5 was a blunder, and apparently the queen sacrifice, queen takes g5 here, would have won the game. Unbelievable. So my knight g5 check idea was just not correct. I should have just chilled a little bit more. Wow, that's a stunner to me, because I thought that positionally here I'm in the bag, and I'm winning. But I thought this knight g5 check tactic just won on the spot, and I just underestimated just how strong the bishop might be on that diagonal. So again, my tactics, I'll say it over and over again, is the weakest part of my game, and we see that in full force here, despite the victory. I think before that, though, you really saw like the tour de force in terms of the activity of the pieces, right? So in this position, right, when the queen b2, rook b1, queen a5, this is just already winning. It's just really, really devastating. I have e5 and then push them back in, and then d6, and these are all coming with tempo, and I'm just shutting down counterplay. And look, in this position, all black's pieces are on the starting flanks, and that's never really a good sign. So I'm not hugely surprised I built up a winning position, but definitely could be cleaner in conversion. And just a lesson that, again, activity and an initiative is almost just is worth a lot of times more than a pawn, and definitely it was the case here. So anyways, let's see who we have next. So that was all right. The Trompowsky always gives some interesting positions, because the imbalance is so stark so early, whether it's if black plays in the sort of the slower fashion, which is like positionally responding to it, you give up the two bishops, but white has the center. And then if black plays really aggressively, there's like major imbalances. So the Trompowsky is really a good opening, to like understand to understand different types of positions. So d4, okay, I'm going to go knight f6. And knight f3, I'm going to go for a King's Indian. And this guy's going London system, which is really in fashion of late, but there are some real decent remedies to it. So it's not like it's not super scary, but it is in fashion. So you have to sort of know what you're doing. Bishop f4 with bishop c4 is a little bit unusual, but it's a very reasonable way to play. The general point is that now the bishop might have pressure on a2. A5 is a very interesting move. Just trying to really just put a lot of pressure. It's sort of banking on the fact that if I take on a5, I might not recover this pawn, and then I might not keep the pawn. Then if I lose the pawn, he manages to keep the two. And then if I lose the doubled A pawn, he'll have an isolated pawn on a7 to work with. So I always wrestle over whether taking it is a good thing, because if I don't keep the pawn, then it doesn't make sense. And here I won't keep the pawn, because if I play b takes a5, I'll play d takes c5 and trade queens, and then I won't keep the pawn. So I'm just going to go knight bd7 and essentially ignore the threat. And yeah, this does allow a6, which is sort of a tough move to. I'm gonna have to go bishop c8 back because it's a move I can't really tolerate. But now I'm wondering if I've lost too much space, because it's really hard now to sort of get anything going. I'm going to go knight e8 and knight c7. It's probably not correct, but I need to sort of be able to at least entertain the idea of playing b5. And so by playing knight c7, I might entertain that idea later. I'll also continue to look at the a6 pawn. But maybe I shouldn't have allowed this this resource. So bishop g5. Okay, I'm going to go knight c7. Knight d5 was an idea, so now I'm covering that square. And I need to go rook b8 really pronto, because the rook on a8 is not looking good. All my pieces are looking a little bit weird. My goal is to sort of push back white, but I maybe should not have allowed this a6 move. The problem is once white plays a5, initiating that pawn tension, white has positive pawn tension and black has negative pawn tension. And so it's really a question of whether you allow that or not. I allowed it in this case, but maybe it was not a good idea to allow that tension. When the pawn goes to a4, sometimes black actually plays a6, so that if white plays a5, black can play b5. And maybe that would have been a little bit more of a prudent response here. The one thing with playing a6, though, is that when you play a6, the pawn is essentially fixed on a6 because of the a4 pawn. So it can actually become a target there. And so there's all these little like micro nuances you have to deal with when playing against the London system in these lines. But he's thinking, which is a good sign. It means that I've done something sort of interesting. And I have. I mean, I think the knight on c7 is sort of well placed, and if I can get in rook b8 and maybe play b5 later, then that would be nice. I anticipate him probably going, well, I didn't anticipate that. Wow, e4. Wow. So if I take, then the knight gets access to c6, so I can't really do that. So I'm going to go rook b8. The point being to play b5, because I couldn't take on d4, because then the knight goes to c6. I could have gone knight e5, but I don't know, it just looked weird to me. I could have taken on d4 and gone knight e5, covering the c6 square, but I don't know. All right, so knight b5, he's just occupying the square, and I can't really take on a7 or on a6 because a7 is hanging. So I'm going to play knight takes b5, and bishop takes b5 is played. And yeah, white is definitely better, no doubt about it. Tough position. I want to go h6. I want to attack something. Yeah, I'm going to go h6. It's a very weakening move, but I can't stand the bishop eyeing the e7 pawn, so I'm going to have to kick it away before I get anything going. I would love if I don't know. I don't know what I'd love here. White is better. Bishop h3 I expected. Yeah, now I'm going to go knight f6, because now the e4 pawn is a touch loose. So maybe that if e5 now, I'll go knight d5. So I think he was not going to want to push that. He's probably going to play a move like, I don't know, something. Not e5. Queen d3. Okay, makes sense. Yeah, still don't have the rub that I'd like. I'm going to go bishop d7. I just need to get a little bit of this congestion off my back. And now I'm, again, if the bishop goes back to c4, I'm actually going to play b5 and c4. So I think he's going to have to trade on d7. So I'm getting a little bit of counterplay here based on like trading some pieces and getting some small micro threats. So this is nice. I'm not arguing that I'm better or anything, but I've managed to just keep him just distracted enough where he making some retreating moves and all that. So that's nice. Again, if e5, knight d5 is an option. And what do you know? I'm up a minute on the clock, which is really, really great. And maybe I should be the one winning on time. Maybe I should press him a little bit. What do you say about that? That might be a decent idea, right? Wow, and he's really thinking, really thinking. So 56, 55, 54, what is he thinking about? He has to make moves. Otherwise, I'll definitely flag him. So, I'm wondering if he, like, had delivery, food delivery, or he just, like, sort of had to use the bathroom, or just didn't see that I moved, and, wow, he's taking now, but it's way too late. Okay, so d5 is played, okay. And he's offering me a draw, but I can't accept this. I mean, look at my position, man. Why would I accept, or not look at my position, but why would I accept when you've wasted all this time? So I'm going to go b5 now to expand on the side of the board, and b4, continue to expand, and rook b6. Now the idea is to play, oh man, I might have just allowed e5, so I'm going to go knight e8 to not allow e5, but he plays anyway, and now knight c7. And he shouldn't have taken there, because now I'm just a pawn up if I want it. I'm going to play rook e8. No, maybe not. I'm going to go rook e8. That's another pawn, buddy. Yeah, I'm going to win this game. Yep. I just stopped talking because it was just too ripe for the picking. He was so low on time that I needed to just finish him. There was definitely some sloppy technique there, but I won. I had a decent position. I sort of, the really key point, I mean, before we sort of got into this time fuzz where you just start wasting a bunch of time, is after bishop d7, I did sort of manage to, well, right here, after bishop g5, this position is very annoying. Sorry, in this position, it's very annoying right now. Whoa, hold on, give me a second. So yeah, in this position, it's very annoying. White has really great pressure, both in the center and with this bishop on g5. And then I started to just negate some of this pressure. First, after e4 by playing rook b8, threatening b5. He felt compelled to occupy that square, so he played knight b5. And then I just tried to trade a few pieces to nullify the pressure. So takes, and then h6, just putting the bishop off the e7 pawn. Hope I maybe entertain ideas of playing queen c7 at some point. But I think the bishop maybe should have gone to h4 instead of e3. I think e3 was wrong. After h4, it forces me to play g5 to get the bishop off the line. And after bishop e3, then knight f6 again with tempo, attacking something, e4. Bishop queen d3, bishop d7, again attacking something, threatening to trade on b5 and then taking e4. If you play these like a few moves with tempo, or if you trade some pieces when you're under pressure, you'll be surprised at how quickly the tables can turn. And here, okay, I still might have a little bit of trouble, but it's hardly the pressure that I was facing just 3 or 4 moves previously. So take that into consideration when you're under pressure, because it really does make a difference. All right, back in it. Let's see who's going to be the next victim. I'm feeling a little emboldened now. Our Penguin. I've played this guy, or Penguin. I've played this guy a million times. D4, knight f6. C4. Okay, I'm going to go e6. I've been playing so much King's Indian lately. I'm going to go for a Niemzo, one of the oldest openings in chess. And queen c2, very interesting line. This is the classical. It's very theoretical. I'm going to take us out of the theoretical waters as soon as possible. And that's why I'm going knight c6. And now d6. And the point is to play e5 really quickly. I'm going to give up the bishop pair, but I'm going to play e5, and hopefully that'll be give me something interesting to toy around with. All right, so in this position, I'm a little bit surprised by that e4. I thought e4 was something that he had to worry about or be annoyed by, and it doesn't seem that he cares. Why doesn't he care? I'm trying to figure that out. I thought knight e4, knight d4 would be this really annoying thing, but maybe it isn't. I'm going to castle first, and then I'm going to try and go knight d4, because I thought this knight d4 move would be super annoying. So what are you doing after knight d4? You tell me. What are you doing? I think he might take and play knight d5. Maybe that's the idea. Yeah, that's probably the idea. But I don't have to take with the pawn. I can take with the queen. And then I'm actually attacking the c4 pawn. So I'm going to do that. I think that's sensible. Because if I took with the pawn, he'd play knight d5. And, it doesn't look nice. All right, knight b5. Very, very interesting and probably strong move I overlooked. Really interesting move. Because I want to go queen b6, but then he goes a3, and if I go bishop c5, he goes b4. So I think I have to go queen d7, and it's not a place I want to put my not a place I want to put my queen, but you got to do what you got to do. Yep, I saw this, and now b4, and then he's going to go, I'm going to go bishop d4, and he's going to get the 2 bishops. Now I can just take on d4. Yep. See how positional these guys are, man? It's really not that hard. You can take the 2 bishops, and then you just have an advantage. And now this pawn on d4 is so weak as well, which just adds insult to injury. And now I'm fighting really for equality now, because something went really wrong. I think I shouldn't have broken on e5 as quickly as I did. Should have sort of turtled it out a little bit, because now I'm in real positional trouble. I lack the 2 bishops. I'm not finished with my development. Queen. All right. Bishop g5. Again, very simple and strong move. Just attacking a weak spot. I really don't want to have those double pawns, but I don't think I have time to defend them. So I'm actually I'm thinking I might just allow him to take my double pawns. And yeah, I'm actually just gonna go. Am I just gonna give him the double pawns like that? I want to go bishop f5 and just give him the double pawns, or queen f5 and trade queens and give him the double pawns, or allow him to give me double pawns. No, I'm going to go queen e7. I'm still going to be a little sensible. I'm not going to go all out just yet. All out desperation, that is. But again, this mission is so uncomfortable. because I just don't have great prospects here. Okay, rook d1. I'm gonna go rook d8 to defend that pawn, but not a move that you want to be making. Again, my bishop on c8 is still not developed, and it's just weak. It's really weak. I really want to play c5 to sort of maybe ruin white's pawn chain and protect my own. So I really want to play c5 because then it also allows me to develop my bishop on c8. So if I can get in c5, that would be sort of a plus. I think it's a good time for h6 because now the bishop, if the bishop moves and takes my knight, I play queen takes and I still protect d4. So, and I give myself an escape square. So h6 looks sensible. And yeah, next if I can get in c5. Actually, I'm going to go g5 here. Very weird move, but I really want to go rook b8 at some point. And with the bishop on f4, I can't do c5 and rook b8. So now the bishop goes back c1, and now I'm going to go c5. And if b takes c5, I can still go. I thought I could go queen takes c5, but who knows. I also can go bishop g4 maybe and put pressure on e2. So c5, I think b takes c5 is fine, but he's probably not going to do that. If he doesn't, he plays e3. Very sensible, very interesting. I can't resist going bishop g4, attacking the rook on d1. I just need to get a few moves with the counterplay. If I can get a few moves with counterplay, then maybe I can hold the position. All right, so f3 expected. Now I'm going to go bishop e6, attack c4. And again, just getting a few moves with counterplay. That's the goal. I can't take on c4 because there's rook e1, so I'm going to take on d4. And then I'm going to just rely on my on a little bit of activity here. So if he plays rook takes d4, I'm going to trade, and then play rook d8. And at least the bishop on g2 is subdued for a moment, and I have some counterplay on the central files because his bishop on c1 and bishop on g2 are a little bit off. Queen e7, interesting move. I'm going to go queen e5. I'm going to go knight d7, attack the queen again, and maybe improve the position of my knight. Queen e2. Okay. Man, that's a good move. Because now I'm still pinned. My knight b6. I got to keep attacking. I have to make moves that attack something. He's going to go c5 now, but I have to make moves that attack something or threaten something. Otherwise, this whole rescue mission is just going to be foiled. And knight c4. I like the knight on c4 because it just does a decent job of controlling a few squares. f4. Did not see that. No, I'm only saying that a lot today. Did not see that. All right, so I'm going to take. And again, I'm low on time, so I'm going to go into rescue the position mode. Rescue the position mode. Again, I'm down the two bishops. I mean, bishop takes b7. Yep, obvious. Things are not working out in my favor. So I'm going to just try and get some counterplay going somehow. c6 just wins. On the spot, too. Always annoying when moves win on the spot. c6 just wins on the spot. Well, no, it actually does allow bishop d5 check. Alright, so c6 doesn't win on the spot. I think it might win, but bishop d5 check you don't want to allow. So he's thinking. When I don't talk and I focus, my desperation kick really kicks in. and I start to cause some problems for my opponent. And it looks like I might flag this guy if he doesn't find a win. Okay. What if I do that? Okay. What if I do that? Where's my queen go? And that's the game. That's the ball game. One on time. But you know, I stop talking and then I kick into gear and okay. There's nothing really brilliant about my position. But you know, I'm able to just make it a little bit tougher on the conversion side. Anyways, the real mistake. Again, this line is not too popular for Black Knight C6, but it's a little bit. It's just an offbeat line, sort of not to get into the main theoretical lines of the Queen C2 Niemzo. But oh wow, he's looking. He's trying to figure out what's went wrong. Should we look at his analysis? He's trying to back up. Actually, if someone could tell me actually how to examine the game on my own, so this sort of opponent editing doesn't happen, that would be nice. Because I really don't know how to do that. I'm sort of like a ICC noob when it comes to commands. So, and yeah, now he's calculating winning lines and really upset with himself. But anyways, the point I was trying to make was that if in the Queen C2 line of the Niemzo, normally the most popular move is either castles or D5, not my Knight C6 move, and I got into a little bit of trouble there. Playing a really early E5 after Knight C6. I should have maybe waited on that move a little bit. So, anyways, let's see who's up next. Waiting in the ICC train. What's going on in the chess world since yesterday? I don't even know. I don't even know what has been going on in the chess world. So it was like a long day at work, and I didn't get to follow anything and really in depth at all. I haven't even visited any of the chess sites today. That's how you know you're busy, because as I was developing and I'm still developing as a chess player, no doubt. I would be looking at the chess websites all the time. I think you can learn a lot about a person by their website history, their browsing history, and or sort of the websites that are like you sort of just like in there. And the websites that were sort of the most popular for me were always like chessgames.com, chessbase.com, and maybe like chess vibes. Yeah, those things were really huge. Yeah. So I haven't actually looked at any of those sites that were my sites. So I don't like this early expansion that sort of undertaking that White has tried to do with this. What do we want to call this? I don't approve of this expansion that on the queen side that Black was trying to get done. Didn't make much sense to me. So and okay, bishop d7, trying to play bishop e5, but I'm going to play queen e2 to stop that nonsense. And he plays it anyway, which means it's a free pawn. And he's trying to Benoni the position, but or play it for compensation. That's what I mean by Benoni the position. But it just doesn't work here. I have really good control of the light squares. The b file isn't even open, and I'm still a pawn up. So White's just better in every department. So take that. And again, my queen can just go to a4 if it needs to. So it's not even like weak. It's just fine. And now I'm actually threatening knight takes d6 perhaps. So yeah, I'm going to go bishop h4 to sort of tempt him into playing g5, which I like, weakening his side a little bit more. F5 might have been a resource on the last move, though. Definitely glad he didn't play it. So I'm going to go rook d1 to sort of counteract any... Knight b6 is cute. I know it is, and I can just take. I'm just going to play knight takes b6. And that's just a free piece. So I expect resignation, yeah. And, yeah, I was already before this blunder, I was already starting to begin this choke job. I mean, as you can see, all my pieces are centralized. I'm a pawn up. I'm preparing the e5 break, which was probably going to come on this move or the next. I was maybe going to throw an h3 or h4 just to give my king an escape square. You know me. Caution is the name of the game, or prophylactic moves before expanding. But I just had I have a pawn up in a position that's, you know, good. Don't try this this stuff that Black did with d4, c5, d5, b5. That's just nonsense. Total nonsense. You can't give me the center like this. Especially where you're not developing any of your pieces in your first 5 moves. This doesn't make sense. So, anyways. Next. Who is next? That was too easy. I finished my tea. Now I'm on to seltzer water. And I think this will be the last game. You know, hopefully the last one will be a good one. Really a good one to finish on. You know, finish the day on a good one. And yeah, then I'll wrap it up and be to my other vices before I go to sleep. As you guys well know, I do believe that chess is, I mean, no, not a vice, but chess is sort of a drug. I would say, like, when you get into it, there's a reason you keep coming back. There's a sort of an addiction there, and it's I think it's sort of a gift and a curse for the real enthusiast. I mean, it's definitely more of a gift, I would say, for most people, because just the joy, the enthusiasm, even the will to actually be great at something is an investment and something that I think it's a source of pride. I think all these things around chess that are like really positive and stuff that you don't get from other things is really great and wonderful. That being said, you really can lose yourself in chess. You can even lose the most basic sort of things that you need in life. I mean, there have been so many times where I was playing Blitz in the park when I was younger, for instance, and it'd be like, oh my gosh. You only realize at the end, like, it's like, oh my gosh, I have to use the bathroom, or I'm actually hungry, or I'm cold, or like even your normal like basic functions and thought processes sort of shut down a little bit when you're so deeply enthralled in chess, and that's an amazing thing. And it's a thing like I can only imagine drugs do. That's the only thing I sort of think that has that same effect, you know. So that's why I say chess can be like a drug. Anyways, back to chess, or actually the game. Oh wow, b3. I have played b3. I played against b3 so many times. You might recall from videos way back where I would blunder, like, I'm going to play d5, but there was way back after bishop e2, bishop g4, f3 normally is played here. No, h3. Now then I can go bishop h5. Normally there was this f3, bishop f5, and then e4 move, and there was this major blunder stuff that would always happen connected with like queen b5 check. I used to blunder a bishop all the time, but in this line, but not today, not today. So I'm going to go c6 to sort of limit the bishop's scope on that diagonal. And, okay, e4. It's always tough to figure out what I should be doing. I'm going to go h5. It's probably not correct, but my idea is that if after g5, I want to go e5, and I really just want to take control of the center. Okay, so he goes e3, which allows me to capture and trade here, and I like that. I like trading these rooks and going e6. But white should be fine here. White actually has more space, and a nice looking position, but I don't know. I don't think I'm so much worse off either, but I definitely forfeited any thoughts of having an advantage. Queen e2. I'm gonna go queen a5 check. I think that check can be a little bit annoying. The point is, yeah, after knight d2, my idea is I wanted to play bishop a3 and sort of maybe stop white from castling. I blundered this. I blundered that bishop takes g7 was a move. But now that he played, I'm going to play f6 and maybe justify it as a pawn sacrifice, arguing that this bishop on g7 is now trapped and white can't castle. Alright, so g5 sort of tries to open that bishop up again, but I'm not sure this is the best way to go because, again, this bishop is trapped, so I think I actually might have an advantage here. So I don't actually mind this. The question is, do I go bishop b2 and try to win a pawn, or do I do something else? I'm greedy, so I'm going to try to win that pawn back right away. But maybe it wasn't necessary. Queen takes a4, takes on f6. I'm going to play knight takes f6. And I'm going to argue that I might have something here. Knight h4 is a move. I'm going to go bishop c3, very sneaky, just threatening queen takes b1 because of this pin. That's the small element of sneakiness here. Is this rook on b1 is hanging, and actually white is in a little bit of trouble. I think white is worse now because your king is on e1. I'm going to castle queenside. What are you going to do? I'm going to go bishop f7 just to sort of keep my bishop. I thought about bishop h5, but I thought he could go bishop f3 and then trade the bishops. And my bishop on f7, I think, is doing more than his bishop on h1 is. But now my idea is just to castle queenside. So if I can go castle queenside, I like my chances. And get my rook to g8 or something like that. I was going to attack this rook again, maybe play queen b2. But then I figure king d1 might be played. So, alright, king f1. And, okay, now I'm just going to castle. And I like my position. I think I can go rook g8. Yeah, rook g8 looks good to me. I'm going to play it now. And maybe get the two bishops if bishop takes f6. I think that would be a good thing. Wow, he's giving me the two bishops. That's a shocker. I'm going to go knight takes f6. Now this bishop on f3 can't really go forward, and I really like where I'm at right now. I want to win this pawn on c2, so I'm going to go queen b2 or maybe queen a3. I'm going to go queen b2, just because this rook on c1 is attacked. Okay, so he goes rook b1, takes care of that, and knight f4 may be in the card, so I'm going to go e5 to stop that. And my queen is fine here. It's not getting trapped or anything. And I really love the bishop on c3 because it's restricting white from opening up the position with a c-pawn move like c4. So I think that white is really, really cramped here, and that should be good for me. e4 doesn't really do much. I mean, it tries to open up, but I'm going to go bishop e6 now. And now I'm looking at bishop h3 as a motive. Yeah, I really like bishop h3 check as a motive here. But maybe it's too early for that? I don't know. Man, there has to be something here. All my pieces are activated in really good places. Whew, what should I do? If I go bishop h3, it just goes bishop g2, and maybe then the queen is actually activated. So I want to keep things relatively close. I'm going to go queen a3. Or no, then that allows knight b1. What to do here? Really interesting position, but I haven't found a solution. Alright, I'm going to trade some pieces. I am up material, so I'm going to go bishop takes d2, and then d takes e4 to sort of resolve some of these tensions. And maybe now I can shift my attention over to the d file with rook d8. That would be nice. And am I a pawn? No, I'm not even a pawn up here. But structurally, I like my pawn structure. I think structurally I'm healthy. And yeah, that's what I'm banking on. If d takes e4 again, this bishop on f3 is not really so hot. And yeah, I'm gonna go rook d8, attack this queen. Now the queen has to continue defending the rook, so queen e1, and wow, what did I bungle this position? I just don't know where I'm going wrong here. I'm gonna go rook d4, attack this e4 pawn, but it feels like I lost a little something here because I don't see any sort of real breakthroughs. It's annoying me. I want that knight on e3 to move, so I have queen g1 check. Yeah, I'm gonna win this game. If the queen moves off the second rank, I have queen checks that are nasty. Yep. And that's checkmate, boys and girls. Queen g2 is gonna be mate. Whoa. Again, you could see I won, but not exactly the cleanest game. I had a decent position. I was pressing, but I couldn't figure out a way to go forward. And then it became a time scramble. I think that's probably the trickiest part. Is like I'm playing in like this really like slow, gradual positional fashion, and so the quality of the moves, sort of into the middle game, can be high. But then what winds up happening is you're getting to 1 minute, less than 1 minute, and essentially if you haven't managed to sort of press your way into a serious advantage yet, then the sort of the slow gradual pull doesn't really work as effectively as a strategy. And that's why you also see me playing a lot of King's Indians or sharper stuff. Also just to be interesting and to play tactics. But because but really also even more so than that, because the sharp positions really do lead to sort of quicker outcomes, or positions where the outcomes are resolved quicker than they would in let's say a slower opening or a slower developing opening. So you don't have like a lot of 80 move Najdorfs or 60 move dragons. You know, it just doesn't really happen. So anyways, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching. And I'll be sure to be back soon. Peace.